Hello everyone, welcome back to another coding challenge live stream with Hey Flutter. As we have seen the success of our other coding challenges and your dedication to participate in these coding challenges, we are planning to do it every month to give you some hands-on coding challenges that will put your Flutter skills to the test. I'm your host Sajjad, Hey Flutter team member and a Flutter developer. Alright, so we can move to the next slide, but before getting into the actual content of this live stream, let me walk you through the table of contents. So you guys have the idea what will be in this live stream. First of all, in this live stream, we are going to introduce the new coding challenge, which will put your Flutter skills to the test. And it's a really interesting one. And then we will go to the rewards and recognition for the winners section. And after that, we are going to introduce the winners of the last coding challenge, which was the weather app. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session where we will answer all your queries. So make sure that you guys stay till the end because you could be also the winner of the last coding challenge. Well, let's get started, but first I'll have a quick reminder that we have created a Hey Flutter community in WhatsApp where we have different groups. For example, for general discussion, where you can talk and meet with other Flutter developers. Announcement, where we post all updates and news about Hey Flutter and Flutter. Job opportunities, where you can possibly find a job for yourself. And to join, it's really simple. You just need to pull out your phone, scan the QR code that is available on the screen, or you can go to the link that is available on the screen, and you will also find the link within the live chat. So make sure you join our WhatsApp community to get benefits. And that's not all. We have also created a newly WhatsApp channel. So make sure that you also follow that because we'll be sharing more updates about Hey Flutter and Flutter there in our WhatsApp channel. All right, this was about our WhatsApp community. Now, the moment you all been waiting for is the announcement of the Flutter Coding Challenge in this live stream. So today's live stream is to create this stunning real estate application. It's a fantastic opportunity to enhance your Flutter skills as it includes different concepts, and you can always do your best to make it more interesting. Basically, we will have to build these three pages. The first one is the onboarding screen, which you can create using Flutter packages, but it's always recommended to build it from the scratch to gain experience in managing stats, like transitioning to the second page and implementing a skip button. And let's go to the next slide. And here we have the second page, which is the home page of the application. And here we have the different property images along with the rating and details of the properties. We can have a list view, and then we can add the different images of different properties along with the details and the ratings of each property. You can also play around with it, but the choice is yours, but strive to replicate the provided UI as closely as possible. And lastly, let's go to the next slide. We have got this details page where we have the details about the property, featuring the information such as description, address of the property, ratings, and more. So basically, these are the three pages that you guys have to build in this coding challenge. And we encourage you to take this challenge as the best way to learn is by coding. And don't forget to try to replicate the provided UI as closely as possible. But if you want to, but if you are on advanced level, you have more experience in Flutter development, then you can include some functionalities like animation, and you can even implement the backend for the application. And now let's go to the next slide. Once you have completed the source code, please access the Google form linked in the video description before the deadline. And for this UI coding challenge, the deadline will be 31st December. So make sure that you participate in this coding challenge before 31st December. You will also find the link to the Google form within the live chat, and you will also find it. You will also find it out in the description of this cool live stream. And if you want to know how to apply, let's go to the Google form and let me walk you through how we can fill in the information in the Google form to participate in this coding challenge. Well, this is the Google form that we have. First of all, you should check out the description of the Google form. Here we have explained everything about the challenge details, the submission, which is the 31st December of 2023. And the objective, as well as what you need to do or what you need to develop in the application, and also the rewards for this live stream. And coming down after that, first of all, you need to enter your email. Of course, when you're participating, we will definitely need your email. It's just like the requirements for the Google form. Then we have linked the Real Step mobile app, which we are using for this coding challenge. It's from the Dribble, so we have already linked the link of this design. So make sure to check that out as well for the better quality and understanding the design. Then coming down, first of all, you need to enter your name. Of course, if you're participating in this coding challenge, we definitely need your name. Who are you? So you should put your name in the first field. Then coming down, obviously, when you're participating in this coding challenge, you need to create a repository in your GitHub account, but make sure that you mark it public so that later on we can access it and download it, and we can review your codes and see if you're a winner. So make sure that you create a repository and paste the link over here in this field of the Google form. And last but not least, your profile picture. Of course, when you're a winner of this coding challenge, we will give you shout out and we will showcase your profile picture on our live streams, which is really a great thing. So this is basically a Google form that we have created for participating the people, and the participants should always come here to fill in the information to participate in this coding challenge. And the link for this Google form, you'll find it in the live chat. You will also find the link of this Google form within the description of this live stream. So make sure that you participate in this coding challenge before the submission deadline, which is 31st of December. Now, this is how you can fill in the Google form to participate in this coding challenge. Now let's talk about the rewards and recognition for this coding challenge. The first reward that you will get is the shout out from Hey Flutter during our live stream. After that, we will share your GitHub profile. So it's always better, like people can visit your GitHub profile, give you some stars, follow you on your GitHub profile. And last but not least, we will also provide a feedback for your project. If you win the project, we will review your project on the live stream. And in the meantime, we will also give you feedback how you can improve the codes, how you can become a better developer. And that's all about the rewards that you will get if you win this coding challenge. And let's go to the next slide. Let me remind you that this is not a one-way live stream. We are also opening a floor for your question. If you feel if you feel any query in your mind, you have any question in your mind, then feel free to write the question in the live chat. And later on in the Q&A session, we will try to answer all your queries. If it's related to the real estate application, if it's related to Flutter or a coding challenge. Well, and this is all about from my side. Now, Yuteswa, you can start announcing the winners from the last coding challenge. But let me remind you guys, you can be the winner. So stay till the end and see who wins the last coding challenge.
Thank you, Sajjad. Now let's proceed with the announcement of the winners for the weather application challenge. And yep, our first place winner is Andra Thurston. And let's take a look what he have created. This guy have created this app, this beautiful UI, which looks good, but with this the same bottom overflow issue which we have already created how to tackle all those issues on our last live stream. So guys, you can check it. Like, you have created some mesh here, and you can add the city, plus you have like added a feature so as you can add the image. And yep, let's search for the city, then add city. Yep, here it is, like with the details about the colors, everything. Okay, let's add one more city. Yeah, okay, here you go, like the added city, New York. Okay, which looks good. And he also have implemented the search functionality. So let's search for the city. Let's search for the New York City. Yep, when you search for the New York City, here it is, you can get the New York City and its all details, which looks good. If you find his app interesting and want to check out the source code, you can find it in this repository, and here is the link below. And don't forget to start his repository and also follow him for more codes he plans to share in the future. Yep. So next up, our second place winner is Abdallin Rahavat, and now let's directly see what he have created. Yeah, our second winner have created this beautiful UI with the same overflow, bottom overflow issue. So most of developers need to check here. There is an animation. You can add a city from just selected cities. So let's search for the city. Yep, London. Here we go. And the animations for the clouds, everything for the rain. Yep, which looks good. Yep, then we can add one more city from selected list, like from the provided list. Yep, here we go for New York with the same animation, and also just selected one more. And yep, he have added some animation on the top, which looks good. And yeah, and if you are interested by his app and want to dig into the source code, you can find it in his repositories, and here it is a link for his repositories. And don't forget to start his repositories and follow him for future code releases. And finally, our third place winner is Sudesh Bandra. Let's check out what he have created. Here is the code for Sudesh Bandra, which looks good with no overflow issues. And yep, even if this app have its own issues, like you can select the city, and with good animation, then like the details will come. We like the animations, it was good. And the drawback of this app is not like it's not connected directly to the APIs. He's not fetching like everything from the APIs. It's already from the given data, which is not good. It is not dynamic, but like we like the animation, we like its UI part, so we just choose them. Here we cannot search for Berlin because he haven't added Berlin, which is not good, but like his animation was like beautiful, so you can check it. We just want you to learn from what he have done. Even like you can delete these details. Okay, then like you can see the details to when you just tapped on the city. Yeah, let's do like you can delete like this, which look good animation, which is a beautiful animation. And yeah, if you enjoy his app too, like, and you want to explore the source code, you can find it in his repositories, and here is the link. And make sure to start his repository and follow him for upcoming code releases. And yeah, and now directly let's dive into the reviewing what they have submitted from what the first to the third winner. Yep. Okay, let's go directly to our first winner source code. And most of our participants have applied the clean architecture principle on their submissions, which is good. But there are things I just want to mention. The first thing is like this is the code, which is the domain layer based on his assumption. So he have put the blocks inside the domain layer, the present, like the state management, and he also have the state management inside the presentation, which is not good. Literally the domain layer should be remain free from implementation specifics like UI frameworks or state management libraries, and should all about focus on the business logic. And yep, and the state management should have to be under the presentation layer. So we will move this to the presentation layer. And apart from that, we also don't need the injection file here under the domain layer. So I will put it to under the root. And yep, and this way also, like here we can see the APIs, like, and also he have a comment. So not good to have those both folders. So let's keep the comment, and we don't need the API details. So let's move this to also to comments, and then yeah, and then we can delete the API. We don't need it no more. We can delete it. Yep. And yep, comments, this is the first thing what we have seen. And yep, and the other thing is the way he just connected this, both the domain and the data. Before that, let's see some source code of his, like this part. He have implemented these methods under the data source. There are like get hourly, weathers, everything. He have implemented it. But everything, this type, everything should have to be like first comes from the domain layer as it is our core. So let's directly start from our domain layer, then so you guys can get it like what I just want to say. And under the location repositories, which I'm going to update this source code. So for now, let's comment this source code and create our weather repository, this repository. And yep, you can see there are some errors, but like what are repositories? And repositories abstract the details of where the data comes from, whether it's from a local database or a network API or any other source. And this makes it easier to change or replace the data source without affecting the rest of the applications. This is how we have to understand repositories. They are just the way we abstract them, and it's a great way to improve in clean architecture. But first, let's see. Let's resolve the issues. First, as you can see here, we have this entity issues. So we need to have entities folder under our core, which is like the same as this model class or under data. So let's create entities folder, and then like we need, what did we have here under the models? City entity, like city and the weather. So we need the same. So let's first create the weather. Under this we need the .dart file, and let's add this whole source code to the weather entity class. And then like we also need to create this city entity. So first, then let's go to the entities and create a new file, make it called Dart. And also let's add the source code for CTE. Okay. And let's go back to the repositories. Let's import the city entity, which we already have created. And yep, and let's also import the either is from das package, which we are going to discuss earlier. For cleaner code, let's remove the unused, and here we have a failure. What is a failure? And we all know that handling failures appropriately is important for providing a robust and reliable user experience. And it matters the way we handle our errors will talk on our apps. On our apps. And if we handle the failures in a systematic way, it is going to make our code base more maintainable, not the UI too. So and you can also easily locate and update error handling mechanisms without affecting the core basics. So what we are going to do is like we need to create a failure. So for that, failure should have to be under the domain layer. Then we will create the failures folder, and then under that folder we are going to create this failures .dart file, and let's add our failures. These are our failures. We have the abstract class called failure, then like which extend this failure extends from our abstract class, this one, and this is our first failure, which is get current weather failure. You can add your failures depending on your app expectation or specifications. So yep, if we add the failures, then let's go back to our repo, and let's import fix this error. Now all right, our is fixed. This our domain parts of repositories is done. Now let's move on to our data part. So inside our data parts, we also need a repositories folder, because repositories are inside both the domain and the data layer. So let's first add this repositories folder, and then let's create a weather repositories implementation. To do that, let's create this file, and it should have to be .dart. That. And inside this we are going to add the source code under our repository implementation under the data layer. Okay, then let's import our this is going to be from our domain layer, the one which we created, and we created with one method. That's why it is saying there is an error, this method. Okay, and we can save it. And yep, you can see that this is general OOP concept. When you work with OOP, it is common to put the methods you need for a class inside that class, which you are calling this method from this method. That's why what we need to implement. When we implement, if we define some class under the class which is going to be implemented from this one, we should have to be override it. It's must. You cannot pass it, or otherwise it's going to be an error, which is going to help us. Our core layer is telling everyone do this, do this, do this, and on the data they have to do it. Otherwise it's going to be say no, you cannot go on. So that's the issue. And under here, if it is we're going to back to this one, but under our data layer, and go to the source and weather source, let's create something. We need this part from this part, as we have mentioned. We need this before this one, which is a remote data source, abstract class, and let's create the implementations. This is going to be its implementation. Okay, here what we have done is we have created this remote data source abstract class, and here we have get current weather, and here this is implementations. So we need to define it, and we are going to implement it, which is you define everything here, and you should have to be implement, then the source code will be perfect. Then this get current weather, get hourly weather should have to be here, and all these implementations which you have made can go through here. You can implement everything here. So but now we just this part is just to show you how to connect with the lower data source. So let's go back to the our weather repo implementation under the data. We have created this, and let's override with this source code. So as I'm not going to write everything, that's why I'm just copying it. Okay, let's resolve some issues. This should have to be from the core. And we have also created from the one remote data source, which you have an instance to work on it and okay, we have created our failures under the, so we need, you can import it, core entity. I just want to import the failures. So here are the failures, here are the entities, and here we are accepting an entity file from our core model, which is it is an entity. It is not city model, it is city entity. So we need to, as we are inside the data layer, we shouldn't have to use this one, so we have to change it. And to do that, we are going to add this code under our city model. Okay, this is let's add, the way we convert, let's import entity, and let's go back to our repositories. And now here we can see nothing's happening. Here we are trying to change the objects, and here we can manipulate it using this instance from with the remote data source. Then it's going to pass it to this and to this, like the city, which is going to be, let's see it once again. This part which we already created, and then every implementation goes through this way. Okay, if we are clear until this part, in clean architecture we are going to handle exceptions and failures differently. And why? Like, handling exceptions will allow us to provide a graceful response to errors, and it's going to prevent the application from crashing and offering a users a meaningful error message. Or it can also be an alternative path when something goes wrong. So we have to be sure how we handle our server exceptions. So we need also to identify specific exception types to catch. So, and this is going to help us in distinguishing between different types of errors and handling them appropriately. And that provides us a wide range of built-in exception classes. And you can also create a custom exceptions. So why don't we just create some exceptions? As you can see, we have here a server exception, which is ours, and but like this is from the Dart itself. So we need to create our this exception. So to do that, once again, let's go to our domain layer and create exceptions folder. And here we are going to create exceptions .dat file, and this is our server exceptions. Yep, this is our server exception which implements exception. This is from the Dart core. Yep, it is from Dart core. And yep, let's go back to our data and let's import our server exceptions. And we have here our server failure, and which is should have to be under our failures which you already created. We are going to create exceptions, plus we just have to create our failures. This is the way we just should handle the failures and everything. And to do for the TLS exceptions, we need to import the Dart.io. And yep, that means here we are running everything from the core. Let's see, from the core, why is there's okay, we need to import this part. Okay, all right, this is failures, these are exceptions, this is our entities. And yeah, here's this repository, this part. Let me just close everything. This part, REST repositories and reports are like to connect the data and the domain layer. So here we just created this part. Like, this method should have to take everything, and it's an abstract class. Then when it comes to here under the repositories implementation, we just implemented that. And just this is its implementation. It's implemented, and we have this remote data source. It can be from like this times it is a remote. We can also have a local, and that's it. And here we just need to return either like failure or city entity, and then like we need to change the objects, then we run everything, then we return the right side, which means this means like the successful, which we are going to catch it later. And here we have like handled our server exceptions, exceptions. And if when some exception happen, here we also handle our failures. And here also like for the built-in Dart exceptions, and here also we just return their failures. Or this is all for our first winner, and yeah, this is all for his code. And when we come to our second place winner, we have seen like he have used too many question marks to make his variables nullable. And yep, as you can see in this class, on his all models he have used all nullable, and which is not good based on Dart effective or in development in Dart. Let's say in this class, the fields are declared with a question mark, which means they can be null. Using the nullable types can be good ideas, and but in some cases, like especially when you want to indicate that the value might not be present. But let's see, like in all his models, the value are not present, like it is a question. So you have to make sure when you choose like what to do what, because it is not good for your source code. Like why? Like it's going to add like external check to your code. You have to check it like always, like you have to check if it's null or not. Like external check would be there, and it's hard for you. It makes it hard to read. And yep, using nullable types too much can make your code harder to read. But like if you know your variable will always have a value, yeah, explicitly declaring it as a non-nullable can make your code easier to read and make your intentions clear, because it's not going to be null. Let's say for a weather middle, maybe the weather should have to be there, the base main, like you should have to be the one who is going to do that. So it's not good way of doing things like this one. I have seen it on his all of code, so which is not good. And the other thing is, with strict null safety, you are encouraged to avoid unnecessary nullable types unless you are legitimate, you have a legitimate reason for a variable to be a null. And yeah, they can I mean like non-nullables can help you avoid optional null checks and extra. If we have covered this part, I have seen him using too many types. I mean like here you can see like here he have mentioned the types, which is not necessary. We can, it's not going to, it is going to make your code less readable. I mean like readable. Yep, you can do this like you don't need this part. Yep, you just hover over the variable, then you can see the details, because you didn't need this, because I think it is called inference, and the type is implicitly considered to be like, let's say for this one, a list of a location model, and this is possible because that supports type inference. And when you initialize a variable with a value, the type of the variable is inferred from the value, so you don't need to add the types here. Let's say here also, yep, we don't need this, like you can say final or const, whatever it takes. So we don't need the types. So yeah, for this part. And the other thing on this code is like I have seen too many comments, and like if you are not using your this course, you have to remove them. Like they are going to be MS, and they are going to make your code less readable. So everywhere you go, you can see comments. I know like we all do this while we just want debug our codes, but like finally it shouldn't have to be here. Like the all source code which are here should have to be the one who's just working and active. So don't do too much comments. We have seen too much on most of our submissions. So the types and making every variable nullable and other things are not good, and doesn't make your code more readable, and is going to make it harder for you guys to maintain it early, I mean like later. Yeah, our second place winner also have implemented the clean architecture, and as I have mentioned, there are issues on most of the structures specifically, so the structures will matter. So here you can see exceptions are under the core, which is like he just used feature based kind of structure. He has a weather, and here he have a domain, and then like yeah. So literally it should have to be, whether it's feature or other way, like the domain should have to contain the use case, repositories, entities, failures, which are like core of the application. Somewhat like you cannot change them, or you cannot like edit them wherever was changed. So to do that, first let's create this exceptions folder under the domain, and move this to the exceptions, and yeah, that's it. And that should have to be the way we just have to use it. Like the other thing which I just want to pinpoint from this is like most of you used the either from darts package. So yep, I have seen some of you use it perfectly or the best way, and most of the time we are not like have seen like how they use it. So under the data here he is using this darts package, and he's defining the type, and yep, this is like so before going deeper, let's see what really is Dart package. Okay, Dart package is a package, you can get it on pub, and it is a functional programming library for the Dart, and it's designed to provide developers with a set of tools to write more concise, modular, and error-resistant code. And it is by embracing functional programming principles. You can directly go what's functional programming principle like, but for now we are going to talk about this either type, which there are a bunch of types which you can go directly see everything, but like in functional programming, the either type is often used to represent computations that can result in one of two outcomes: a successful result on the right side and an error or a failure on the left side. And this approach is an alternative to showing exceptions and provide a more explicit and compensable way to handle errors. So yep, let's go directly to our source code, and let's come here, which you have implemented repositories perfectly. Let's comment this part, and let's first implement this source code. Yeah, there is an issue, we need to solve it. So do we have failures? Okay, no. So but first we have here server exceptions. So we have mentioned that the exceptions, so let's create that first. I think we have already created the exception class. You already have created it. Is going to be under the domain and exceptions, and let's add this exception, one more exception, which just implement exception, which is from Dart core, which we have already discussed. And yep, let's come back here, we have it here, and yep, let's create our failures. And okay, we haven't created anything for inside the domain. It's as usual, we are going to create failures, and we are going to create failures.dart file, and let's give our failures here. Let's create our failures. Yep, so as I mentioned, the failures depends on your application type, but like this is an abstract class failure, the other will be yours. Okay, and back to the repo. And yep, this is either, so let's import the Dart package, and this is going to be the failures. We have imported the failure, so this is we get this issue because you have to return something on the right, but which is going to be too much like for this part. What I just want to like pinpoint is that what either is going to do. So we are going to here like either return a failure, which when it's going to be it's not a success, but when it's a success we are going to return this right model. So we can have a computation here, which we can do anything, any code here can be in code, like we do what we do and we return the model, like the right model as a return type. So we return anything here, which means when it gets successful. But like if it is not successful, it is a failure. So if it is a failure, we have to handle it on like which exceptions. Let's say on server exception, we can have like different types of exception based on like which we already made or like which is like from the Dart itself. So but based on those exceptions, we are going to return the failures. We can create our failures. It can be server failure for server exception, but it should have to be on left. What you have to see is like left means this one is failure, right means this one it's a weather. Like we can have any other exceptions here which we can return. So let's say on exceptions, what do we have here? Only do have server exception. Let's say route exception. Yep, then we can return this route exception here on, as we say, server exception, we can set route exception, and we can catch left and then route failure. So which means by directly left mean the error, or you can see it is this one is on the left or this one is on the right. So we have to use it perfectly, like on each code it should have to be different, it should have to failure or different types of model. So you have to use it this way, and it's going to help you to catch errors and to manage your exceptions and extra. So I think this is perfect way to use the Dart package using the ISER type. And finally, we have something to note, and most of you guys have submitted your source code for the code challenge. Thank you. And most of you guys have been using the flutter.env, and we think you were not like using appropriately, and so we have seen a great UIs, but like we cannot deeply go to the code and run it because you guys have used .env to cover, I mean, like to secure your API keys. That's where .env comes. It's going to load configuration at runtime, and yeah, .env by default have different use cases. Like you can use it for different types of things. The first thing is like to have a different type of environment for the it can be for the developer or development, it can be for the production, it can be for the other types of things. And yep, we have seen that, but like we think you guys was not using it appropriately, and it have created some issues on our side to just literally run your code. So in the future, in case you use .env, we just mentioned how to add something. So literally, for those who doesn't know .env, first what you have to do is like you have to add it in your pubspec.yaml file, and after you add your dependency, you are going to create the .env this file. And it's better, it's mostly you put like under the root, then like you can add your API keys or everything, then like add your .env under the assets here. .env, you need to add it under your assets inside the pubspec.yaml file, and then the point is like it is for you, but like you should have to add it under the git ignore, so as like you're not sharing the specific or like things like which are like the sensitive, because let's come to here, this API key might be sensitive. Look, there are other sensitive things which you are going to need on your own like app side. So yeah, you guys all done it right until now, like by adding inside git ignore, like, but like when you add it under git ignore, we cannot see anything, and we cannot we do not know like what details you guys have shared. So apart from that, for those who haven't done something with .env, you need to load it, like when you need to load it here on your domain, and there are a bunch of ways you can load it. And yeah, but after that, what you all should have to do is that you need to create this env.example, the same thing as your .env file, which doesn't have your keys, and you are not going to add this one under your git ignore file. It's not ignored, but like we know what we have and we know what your application needs. Then like here we can add the key, database host. You can put anything, like for example, you just can put here any keys which doesn't work in debug mode. It can be false or true. Then we could have put our API keys for that things, and we could have run it. But like most of you haven't implemented this part, and we have seen we cannot see and we cannot work on your code and the app. And yeah, and most of you have applied for with the perfect UI, but like because of these issues, we cannot see the details of your source code. That's why we have to mention this. In the future, you guys can add this .example, and then like on the other side who is going to get it, like know the details of your source code. And yeah, that's it for today. And now let's go next to the next slide directly, and then we join together live again for the Q&A session, and we'll see you there.
Thank you so much, Yatasfa. You have explained everything very well. You handled everything very well, and you have announced the winners for the last coding challenge. Now let's talk about the question. I've already seen some of you guys have already asking some questions in the live chat. Let me share my screen so you guys can see the question. And in the meantime, if you guys have any queries in your mind, then you can just write it in the live chat, and me and Yatasfa will together try to answer all your questions. So the first question is from CH Ehtisham. He's saying that make this a full backend. So yeah, if you're on advanced level, you can do that. Like we are sharing the UI part as a coding challenge, and you can, if you're on advanced level, then you guys can do, and you can do better and make the application on advanced level. Now, moving to the next question, what topic are you going to cover in this live stream? So basically, we cover what we covered over here is just we have announced the next coding challenge in this live stream, which is the building the real estate application, and we have also announced the winners of the last coding challenge, which is the last coding challenge, which is the weather API. So this is another question. Now let's move to the other question. Can we have the link? Yours, you can have the link. It's also available in the live chat. You can join our WhatsApp community from the live chat. We have already shared our WhatsApp channel link in the live chat. So from there, you can join our WhatsApp community to gain the benefits of our WhatsApp community. Then we also have shared the coding. We also shared the GitHub repository of the winners, so you guys can also have a look and see the codes of them, how they have implemented, and why they've won the last coding challenge. And then whenever you're trying to participate in the next coding challenge, then try to learn from them and apply them on your codes. So this is up there. And then there is like another question from Yakub, like, is there any money in these competitions? So this is a really good question. Sometimes competition are not just about the money. Sometimes you do the competition and you compete in different competitions to learn and improve yourself. So basically right now, these competitions are for you guys just to improve yourself, and later on in the future, yes, of course, we will have different rewards. It may include the money, it may include greater awards than money. Then we have the question about the Firebase, I think, and how to retrieve all the users show only admin panel. So what I will say about this, like we have complete short course about the Firebase. So it's all already available in our YouTube channel. So you can visit our YouTube channel to watch the Firebase course, and I hope your question will be solved and you will find your answer, a solution to that question. Then we have a question from Umar Jamil that I used a get it services and repository registration, but when I removed it, like there is something wrong with the application, but when I removed it, it started working normally. So yeah, that's why. What do you think about it? Like, what could be the problem? What you can do? What you can answer him?
Alright, Jad, without the specific detail about his code, we can provide some general guidance on troubleshooting and his potential solutions. But like the first thing when it came to get it in dependency injection, it is the way you just configure it. And so ensure that you have configured get it properly for the dependency injection. And yeah, it is the core part of the clean architecture. It is the way just connect the data, the domain, and the that like the layers. So make sure the way you configure it, like, and also check if there are any circular dependencies or misconfiguration in the way you just registered and resolving your service or repositories. And the other thing is the way you initialize it might also can be an issue. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure
All right.
you are initializing it might cause an issue. And when you initialize, consider using the main function or the run up method. And the other thing is the way you just register your instances. Always check if you are unintentionally creating multiple instances of your services or repositories. By default, Gated is designed to provide singleton instance, but if there are conflicting registrations or instances being created elsewhere, this might also lead to unexpected behavior. So the solution can be like you should have to wrap your dependency injection somewhat with try and catch blocks and capture any exceptions that might be occurring during the registrations process and everything. And apart from all this, you need to deeply understand Gated first. Like it is somewhat like deep, and so it is better to just do more researches about Gated and how it works. Then like it will be easier for you to implement on your clean architecture principle, and which is like the core part of the architecture. And you understand this part perfectly, then you will be good to go. Like it will be easier up after that. Yes,
Thank you
that.
so much, Yatisfa, for the detailed answer. I hope, Omar Jamil, you have got your answer. You just need to check it out again and see that you're doing everything very well. If you're doing everything perfectly, then it will not cause any problem. Now let's go to the next question. For the next project, should we use authentication? So of course, you can use authentication for the next challenge. I've already mentioned that if you are on advanced level, you're having experience in the Flutter development, then you can do different things to improve the coding challenge, and it will definitely stand out, and we will give you extra marks. Moving on to the next question, PopScope tutorial, please. It's a new version of OnBuilds Pop. So yeah, of course, we will create a tutorial about the PopScope. We are gathering different ideas, and we have already added into our ideas list, and definitely in future we will create a tutorial about this. We have a question from Remivi. Hi, after the live, I would like to request the full video. So yeah, definitely this video will be available after the live stream, so you can definitely take your time and watch it after, and then participate in this coding challenge. Then we have answer from Muhammad Al Batul, and the new challenge, which we should build the design in the link, or like the 3 screens under the link in the Google form. So yeah, when you're participating, you will go to the Google form, and then we have these link to the dribble design, and that is the coding challenge. You have to build that 3 screens that is available in the Google form. Then we have another question from Remy again, and he says that I'm working in engineering and programming, and I'm delighted to be part of your community. So of course, we are also very happy to have you here within our community. Thank you so much for being here and joining our live stream. Then we have a question from Blue. When is the next live stream? So tomorrow on Monday. Each Monday, every week, every Monday we are having our live stream. So definitely tomorrow we are going to have our next live stream. And then we have the question how to use the injectable. So I hope Yitasva have already mentioned it while reviewing the coding, reviewing the codes from the winner. So definitely, if you have any question, you can rewatch that part and you will find your answer. I guess that's enough. We have answered all the questions from you guys, and I guess that's it's time to wrap up with today's coding challenge. And it was a really great live stream along with you guys. Don't forget to submit your code on the GitHub profile to get the amazing results. And thanks once again. And until next time, happy fluttering. Bye-bye.